All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to tackle a really interesting puzzle. A YouTube channel that has built this huge, dedicated following by doing pretty much everything you're told not to do. It shatters the #1 rule in the book, and we're about to find out how.
You know the rule. The first thing any content expert tells you is find your niche. So how in the world did one creator, Jack I, build a booming channel by just not doing that? He's covering dense financial analysis, then animated fables, then cutting-edge AI, all in the same place. It shouldn't work. Let's figure out what's really going on here.
I mean, just look at this. On one side, you've got a deep dive into structural risk diversification in finance products. And on the other, a gentle bedtime story about a little paint pot finding its self-worth. These two things seem like they come from different universes. So what on earth is the hidden thread connecting them?
Okay, so where do we even begin to unpack this? Well, the first step is to just take a quick tour of what's actually in this library. The whole channel is really built on 4 very distinct, very different worlds of content. So here's the breakdown. You've got deep finance, and we're talking intense comparisons of ETFs and investment strategies. Then you do a complete 180 into mindset and growth, with these beautifully animated fables about things like courage and building habits. Then, bam, you're hit with tech frontiers, breaking down really complex stuff like Google's latest AI agents. And kind of wrapping it all in a personal layer is art and life. Music, photography, that kind of thing. It's a wild mix.
And when he talks finance, we're not talking surface-level stuff. I mean, this quote says it all. It's not just about what the ETFs are, it's a forensic investigation. He's digging into fee structures, tracking errors, long-term tax implications. He's literally looking for the devils in the details.
And that same deep dive approach, it carries right over to the tech content. When he's analyzing Google's AI, he's not just listing the cool new features. He's focused on the massive philosophical shift, moving from an AI that just answers your questions to an AI that proactively gets stuff done for you.
And then you get to the mindset content, and it just hits different. This line, from a simple story about a paint pot, sounds like it's from a kid's book, but it's not really for kids, is it? It's this really deep philosophical idea about potential and about having the courage to just be without needing a label. That's surprisingly profound stuff.
So how does this all tie together? Seriously. Well, the first big clue is actually hiding in plain sight. It's the channel's name. This is where we start to see the real method behind all this apparent madness.
The channel is called I's Observation Notes. And that's not just some catchy name, it's literally a mission statement. The secret sauce isn't the topic, it's the approach. The core idea is to apply this deep, almost microscopic observation to anything, a stock, a piece of software, a human emotion, and uncover the hidden details and the practical insights that most people miss.
Let's see this observation notes method in action. Take that deep dive he did on 2 big Taiwanese ETFs. He starts with the obvious, right? They both track the same index. Easy. But then he starts peeling back the layers. He gets into the nitty-gritty of the tiered fees and operational costs. Then he goes even deeper, revealing hidden nuances like tiny differences in tracking error. And finally, he looks way into the future, simulating what happens when their fees might eventually converge. It's a total masterclass in seeing what's underneath the surface.
But look, a clever analytical method isn't enough to build a loyal community, right? There's got to be something else going on. And there is. Beyond all the data, there's this profound, deliberate focus on human connection. It's about starting a dialogue. And this connection isn't an accident. It's built intentionally, brick by brick. The videos don't just dump information on you, they ask these really deep questions. They use storytelling to make complex ideas actually stick. And the creator personally invites comments and dialogue, which makes the whole thing feel less like a broadcast and more like a real community conversation.
And get this. In a video that's supposed to be about something as dry and boring as ETF fees, the final takeaway isn't a number. It's about your personal values. The decision suddenly becomes this reflection of your own psychology, not just a spreadsheet calculation. That's incredible. And this right here, this is the heart of it. This quote, from the end of a children's story, isn't just a generic like and subscribe. It's a promise of a genuine connection. It tells every single viewer, your thoughts matter here, and I will actually listen. That's how you build real trust. So we have this consistent analytical method, and we have this deep focus on human connection. But what are those two things building towards? Well, that brings us right to the very center of it all, the one single philosophy that finally unites finance, fables, and AI.
And here it is, the big secret. The channel isn't really about finance or fables. The real niche, the true subject, is actually the practice of long-term thinking. It's about how to build the internal mindset, the patience, the discipline, the adaptability that leads to success and fulfillment no matter what you're doing.
This is where it all just clicks into place. Take a theme like patience. In an investment video, it's about focusing on long-term compound growth. In a child's story, it's about the slow, steady journey of accepting yourself. Or discipline. For your portfolio, it's sticking to a savings plan. For your life, it's building good habits one tiny action at a time. And adaptability, just as crucial for rebalancing a portfolio in a crisis as it is for a character learning from failure. The topics are different, but the core lesson is exactly the same.
So, after taking this whole thing apart, what's the big takeaway for all of us, whether we're creating something or just trying to learn? It really forces us to rethink what a niche even is.
Here's the ultimate insight. The one thing to remember from all of this. Your niche isn't your topic. Your niche is your perspective. It's the unique and consistent way you observe, analyze, and connect with the world. And this channel proves that if your perspective is strong enough, you can point it at almost any subject and find an audience who gets it because they resonate with how you see the world.
And that leaves us with one last big question to think about. We're always told to specialize, right? To pick one lane and become the expert. But what if this whole thing shows us a different path? What if your greatest, most powerful strength isn't being an expert in a single field, but in the unique and personal way you connect all of your different interests to build a perspective that is 100% your own?